Welcome, everybody. I'll call the meeting to order. This is the regular council meeting of January 28, 2025, and a couple of reminders for today's meeting. Members of the media may sit in the upper balcony at the reserved media table. All other guests, please take a seat in the first floor gallery. If that is full, there is overflow seating on the second floor in the Victoria Room, where you will be able to see and hear the meeting. We live stream the meeting on your YouTube channel, and the recording is available after the meeting. This meeting is also broadcast live on your TV. Cogeco subscribers channel 10, HD channel 700, and rebroadcasted on Wednesdays at 9 a.m. and on Saturday at noon. Because meetings are accessible to the public in all these ways, video or audio recording by members of the public is not permitted in council chambers. This is to ensure that all attendees and those who come to make a deputation feel at ease. Thank you for your cooperation. Ask everybody to rise for O Canada. Please be seated. We'll have a moment of silent reflection. Thank you. Councillor Perry, you have the adoption of the open session agenda.
I do, Mayor, and it's moved by myself and seconded by Councillor Joyce that the agenda for the open session of the regular council meeting of Tuesday, January 28th, 2025 be adopted as circulated with the following amendments. Item 6.2 being a deputation by James Oldman regarding a bylaw to stop up and close part of the original 66-foot road allowance lying in front of Lot 12, Concession 1 Carden, relating to item 14.1.4 on the agenda. Item 6.3 being a deputation by Yuan Li regarding a bylaw to stop up and close part of the original 66-foot road allowance lying in front of Lot 12, Concession 1 Carden, relating to item 14.1.4 on the agenda. Item 6.4 being a deputation by Sandra Robinson and Judy Hornibrook regarding the proposed surplus declaration, closure and sale of a portion of road allowance adjacent to 100 and 114 Front Street East and 27 Ann Street, Bobcaygeon.
Thank you. Did you have a seconder for that?
I did, Councillor Joyce.
Thank you. Any comments or questions on the agenda? Seeing none, all in favor? And that's passed. Are there any disclosures of pecuniary interest on anything on today's agenda? Seeing none, should any arise during the course of the meeting, advise the chair and we'll deal with it accordingly. Moving on to notices and information by members of council. Councillor Warren.
Yes, through you, Mr. Mayor. I just want to wish everyone very happy and healthy 2025. And also, I would like to invite everyone to Frost Fest, which is going to take place at Settlers Village on Family Day weekend on February 15th from 11 to 3. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Deputy Mayor McDonald.
Yeah, through you. Thank you very much. A couple items there. I had the pleasure of going to the Bobcaygeon Curling Club, and which we're hosting the 2025 Wheelchair Doubles Provincial Championship. So it was a great event, and I learned something that the Bobcaygeon Curling Club is the third largest curling club in Ontario, dating back to 1885. So I thought that was very interesting to learn that. And also had the opportunity to meet the Inspector General, Ryan Teschner, at the OPP or at the Lindsay Police, and it was an honor to meet him. And he was going around to all the municipalities and giving us information of where they're going for the next year. So that was also a pretty interesting meeting. And last but not least, also another new game that's coming very popular is the cornhole game. It's they held their provincials at the Lindsay Fairgrounds there also. So that, and it was just packed. It was interesting to see so many people and playing that game. So there's another game that's really kind of coming along good. So it was good. So that's all I have for now.
Thank you. Councillor Joyce.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Through you, I have an update here from the Little Britain Community Association. Along with the Christmas parade, this association, they really punch above their weight here. They have supported 6 families with full Christmas dinners, breakfasts, and gifts for entire families. Donated $500 to our local food bank, $200 to our Just for Girls group, and additional Christmas dinners to several local seniors. They had their first annual Christmas Bazaar, raising $750 for the Little Britain United Church. And coming up on February 8th at 12 p.m. is the second annual LBCA Curling Bonspiel. There's still some room for teams. You don't know how to curl. This is just a fun event. So if you have a team of 4 and interested, actually I didn't bring the contact information, so contact myself and I will carry it forward. That's the Little Britain Community Association. And being on the library board, I'm, as you know, always pumping up our phenomenal 14-chapter library. And as our community grows, Kawartha Lakes Public Library continues to adapt. They aren't just buildings full of books anymore. They are dynamic, inclusive hubs of education and creativity. Whether residents are crafting, reading, or exploring new forms of technology, Our 14 local branches are places where everyone can come together, learn, grow, and thrive. To that end, coming up in February, fantastic family-oriented initiatives for residents to enjoy. While we're closed on Family Day, the spirit of family togetherness and learning alive with distribution of special Family Day take-home packs. These packs will include a listing of 5 awesome things families can do to celebrate Family Day, and as an added bonus, all branches will offer a washi tape snowflake craft on Saturday, February 15th. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Richardson.
Thank you, and through you, Mr. Mayor, a few announcements here. The Janettville Community Centre will be hosting a live music event, 2 for the Show, on Saturday, February 22nd. I can tell you right now, this group knows how to put on some fun, so please join. On Friday, January 31st, there's a deadline for nominating the 2025 Kawartha Lake Spotlight on Agricultural. It's a huge event for our area, and you can do your nominations right now with the website open. Also at this time, we do have our ongoing firefighter recruitment across the city of Kawartha Lakes. Always want to give a shout out to the crews that we have in place. They do a phenomenal job. We can't run our volunteer services and provide that service in our communities without them. So it's a great opportunity for those thinking about doing things in their community is to join our fire departments. So thanks for that. Also want to give a shout out to the Trillium Lakeland School Board for introducing the new zoned when it comes to weather inclement. I know I've had numerous emails, numerous phone calls about people appreciating that new approach, so hopefully it goes well. And just one more reminder that there's more folks using our food banks locally, so keep donating. That's it. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Councillor Yeo.
Thank you, and through you, Mr. Mayor. I don't know if you're going to speak on Roma, but I have the privilege of attending with Councillor Joyce and the mayor and the CAO this past week. And there's 3 things I took away from the conference, as well as getting informed on a lot of great initiatives, but was we're not alone in our pain that we feel with the rising costs. Secondly, we're all scared of the next 4 years, or at least 2 years anyway, that's coming from south of the border. And number 3 was by the end of this year, we'll probably be sick of elections. So that those are the 3 highlights I took away, as well as some much valued information on conservation efforts and stuff going on in the province. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Councillor Perry.
Thank you, Mayor. You know, Councillor McDonald often asks me, where is Ward 3? Where is Ward 3? It's very simple. You take a map of the universe and look in the center, and there you will find Ward 3. So speaking of which, coming up, last week, I want to acknowledge the Fenland Seniors Club that hosted a healthy aging workshop, Optimizing Health. It was standing room only, Mayor, and it was great to see, again, how expanded and how growing our local seniors club is in Fenland Falls and all the great work that they do for our community. Also coming up is the Chamber of Commerce, the Fenland Falls and District Chamber of Commerce AGM, starting at 6:30 at the Fenland Legion on Friday. The Fenland Chamber of Commerce knows how to throw an AGM, if anyone has been. Last time it was bingo, beverages, and buffet. This year there will be a Yuck Yucks level comedian at an AGM. Unheard of, Mayor. 40 to 60 people turning out for an AGM. So I want to make sure that I acknowledge and recognize the great work ongoing of the Fenland Falls and District Chamber of Commerce. Last but not least, I was able to meet with some of the leaders at the Fenland Falls Curling Club. And the Curling Club has been a cornerstone of our community here since 1892, and they're still going strong. And I'm pleased to report there's lots of energy in the leadership there at the Curling Club. They're really striving to be a curling club and more in our community and have some great plans coming up, so watch this space. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, and I thank you for making no puns about stones and cornerstones when you talk about curling clubs.
But intentionally, Mayor.
I have a couple of things. You'll notice at Councillor Ashmore's chair are some flowers in memory of the passing of his second eldest son, Michael. Councillor Ashmore reached out to me this morning and asked if I would pass on the thanks from the family for all the support they've received over this last period of time when they're going through so much grief. And he's very appreciative. The family is very appreciative of all the people who have stopped by, reached out, called, emailed, and been in touch to express their sympathy. And he asked that I say something at council today. So very sad event, and we hope their family is doing well, and we wish him back as quickly as he feels he can make it. But he should take whatever time he needs, and the family should take the time they need. As Councillor Yeo talked about, he was at Roma, and I was at Roma as well with Councillor Joyce and the CAO. We attended several sessions, and we also met with several cabinet ministers. We met with Matthew Ray, the parliamentary assistant to Minister Calandra, Municipal Affairs and Housing, Housing and Municipal Affairs, I think is the right context. And we expressed our concerns about how the numbers were being counted for the Building Faster Fund, and where we thought we stood, but that we needed confirmation. They promised to look into that. We also asked them about Go Transit, which has been something that was promised as a result of the MZOs that we agreed to have in our community. And they again promised that they would find out where those stood. We met with the Deputy Premier and Minister of Health, and I was able to bring up our concerns that we expressed at AMO last summer. And in the meantime, we talked about paramedics and the ongoing community paramedic program, which she is a huge fan of and has assured us that it is a program she wants to see continue permanently. We also met with a number of people from other municipalities and shared best practices and shared concerns. And as Councillor Yeo pointed out, they're going through exactly the same things we are. And we attended also many speeches by various different people, probably the highlight of which was the opening remarks by Chantal Hiver, the well-known columnist, and she was very engaging and very informative. So all in all, I felt Roma was a very good experience, and I think we accomplished some things there. As we know, there's a provincial election on the horizon, and we'll wait and see what that brings for us. In the meantime, did I forget anything, CAO?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Through you, maybe just one additional was we met with the Minister of Arts, Culture, and Tourism, and we actually went with our friends from the Kawartha Lakes Art Gallery, and they attended the conference not just for that meeting, but to promote sort of the local context and the local community partnerships that they enjoy and that we enjoy with them. And I think the minister was quite impressed that it wasn't just representatives from the municipality, but it was community members sort of coming forward and talking about those partnerships. And I think it was well represented, as was Kawartha Lakes through their booth that they had at the Trade Hall and show throughout. Thanks.
And Minister Cho has promised to come and visit us, so we'll hold him to that. There any other notices from staff? Okay, moving on. Can I have a motion that the minutes of the special council meeting of December 10th, 2024, the regular council meeting of December 10th, 2024, and the special council meeting of January 14th, 2025 be received and adopted? Mover and seconder? Councillor Yeo, Councillor Joyce, all in favor? And that's passed. Now move into deputations. Our first deputation is Gerard and Narika Lambert. Proposed surplus declaration, closure and sale of a portion of road allowance adjacent to 7 Thomas Street and 5 Amelia Street in Pontypool. Thank you. I'll see if there are any questions for you, if you don't mind. And because nobody can hear you except the people in here, so maybe there's a button at the bottom of the microphone. There you go. If you just repeat what you said, please.
I'm just saying it seems like everything is going forward smoothly, so there's really not a lot I need to say.
Okay.
The councillors and everyone and yourself has handled it very well.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Councillor Richardson, do you want to say something?
I will. More of a comment. Thank you very much for coming today, and we are recognizing that we are working with you and the Cochrans in Pontypool, and it'll be a transition, so you will hear from staff. Plus, I love your tie.
Did you want to give us a motion to receive the presentation? And Councillor Perry will second it. Did you want anything? You're good? You're good, Councillor Perry? Okay. All in favor? And that's passed. Thank you. Thanks for coming today. Our next deputation is Mr. James Oldman, speaking to a bylaw to stop up and close part of the original 66-foot road allowance lying in front of Lot 12, Concession 1 in Carden. Mr. Oldman, are you in attendance? Sir, you have 5 minutes.
Thank you, Your Worship. I don't think I'll need 5 minutes. My name is James Oldman. I'm adjacent to the property in question. I'm on Lot 12, and my neighbor here is Lot 11, and I got no problem with him at all. It's a good neighbor. The property that we're talking about is at the end of Campbell's Beach Road in Carden Township. As a kid back in the 60s, I used to use that road and go all the way to the old 503 or Kirkfield Road. I knew the farmers on both properties, the Campbell brothers on 11 and Roy Black on Lot 12 and 13. And I just hate to see that it goes open to anybody else other than who's in there. Now I'm in Lot 12, my neighbor's Lot 11. The property and subject, I know the neighbor at Lot 159 on Campbell's Beach, and he's coming after the little triangle shore allowance or road allowance. I forget what they call it. We used to call it shoreline allowance, the 66 feet. It's just a little sliver. So my question is, am I okay to be, as a neighbor or adjacent property to it, still have entitlement to use that property where I've used it for 50 years? But now I own property there, and I'm in the process, maybe I'm spoiling it, going after Lot 13, which is the north property. We're just waiting for the owners to do some clearance on it. There's a problem with it. So that's why I'm after that little, the road allowance comes from the Brecken Road, or I think it's 47, and it goes up to the north and then swings to the west to the lake. And my corner properties are roughly about 500 feet from Campbell's Beach Road. And it was always called the shortcut, where we go up there, and it would only take us a mile to go over to Radway store, which was in Dalrymple. I grew up with the Ross Radway, which used to be the Reeve back then. And he taught me how to hunt up in there, so I know the area. Okay, that's all I have to say.
Okay, just hang
Thank
in
you.
there a second and we'll see if...
I'm really nervous on this. I've never done this stuff.
Don't be
before.
nervous. You're just having a conversation with me. The rest of these people are listening.
Thank you. Thank
It's
you.
the way it works. Okay?
I wish Rosh was here.
Just hang on a sec, okay? Can I get a motion to receive the deputation, please? Councillor Yeo and Councillor Warren. Any questions for the deputant? Seeing none, you're off the hook.
Thank you. Going in. I'll hit this.
All those in favor? And that's passed. Thanks for coming today. Our next deputation is from Yuan Lee, and it's relating to the same 66-foot road allowance. Again, sir, you'll have 5 minutes, and just press the button there, and away you go.
Oh, hi, Mr. Mayor and all the councilors. So I bought this property 5 years ago. I like the area. I want to live in the area. Later on, I want to start a build and development in the area. So this abutting property, the Little Shoreline, it's a 66 feet. It's right beside me, and also the road allowances was already merged with my property. So I think there is I've been talking to my neighbor here. So we've been talking a lot when we were in the field. So I think there is a little bit misunderstanding in place with the layout, because I just found out he didn't know that at the back end the road allowances are already merged with my property, and the other part is already stopped at the lakeside. So all I want is just purchase the Little Shoreline and to make good use of it and make a good living in Kawasa Lake. And we've been good neighbors. We've been, enjoying the natures together. And I hope since I come to Canada 25 years, and then I want to move to Kawasa Lake, and I do my part with Kawasa Lake. I can use my power, my will to bring in more opportunities and more developments into the area. I've been sincere, that's I have to say.
Thank you. Just hang in there a second. Can I get a motion to receive the deputation? Councillor Richardson, Deputy Mayor McDonald. Are there any questions for the deputant? I just have one. Your neighbor is concerned whether he would still have access through the road allowance if you were to purchase it. Is that a fair question, or it's premature?
Okay. So until now, I have been done this already. I've been waiting for 3 years to do the surveys, to spend money on the ads, and waiting 3 years to this result. But one thing I want to know is, I have printed out a plan from the website. So if it's already been closed, then I am the only person that nearby to purchase it. So from what James was saying, he wants to open up a line all the way to the highway. So I think now I have been already put 3 years of work in this. So I want to finish this process first, and then with the rest we can still talk about it, like the details, and later we can see how to work things out. I mean, to me, it's just, I trying to have a lakeshore access so I can put a dock on there, and that's the national rationale for it. So I'm not opposing to anything, but I'm concerning about it. Because before I come here today, I was thinking it was somebody else was trying to get over there and do that. And when we see each other, when we say, "Oh, okay," we see it's you, and everybody is saying, "Okay, we're trying to protect the area well. We're not trying to."
Yeah. Okay. I just wanted to put that out there, and it's good that you're still talking. I'm glad you're friendly neighbors and you get along, and sounds like everything will work out in the end. We have a motion to receive the deputation. All in favor? And that's passed.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming today.
Thank you.
Our next deputation is the proposed surplus declaration, closure and sale of a portion of road allowance adjacent to 100 and 114 Front Street East and 27 Ann Street, Bob Cajun, Sandra Robinson, and Judy Horningbrook. Welcome, ladies, and you have 5 minutes between you. Anytime you want.
Good afternoon, Mayor Elmsley and council members. This is Judy Hornibrook, the owner of 27 Ann Street in Bob Cajun, and I'm Sandra Robinson, the owner of 114 Front Street East. We are here to ask council to pass the offered sale of the road allowance adjacent to our properties as per the staff report and recommendations. We have attached some pictures that demonstrate the condition of the road allowance and also shows that there is no view of the canal. The first picture shows the road allowance as an extension of Prince Street that goes through from Ann Street through to Front Street. The second picture shows the road allowance, and the third picture shows that there is no view of the canal. In closing, we are hoping that comments for social media do not play a part in decision making. Thank you for allowing us to speak on this matter.
That's it?
That's it.
Okay.
Short and sweet.
All right. Let's get a motion to receive your deputation, and we'll see if there are any questions. Councillor Warren, seconder. Councillor Joyce, questions, comments? Councillor Warren.
Yeah, thank you for Judy and Sandra for coming today. It's not anything on Facebook. I believe that Realty Services had some questions coming forward. I just want to make sure that all the T's are crossed and the I's are dotted, and going to be speaking with the solicitor, Robin Carlson, and hopefully we can bring something forward very soon. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments for the deputants? Seeing none, all in favor? And that passes.
Thank you. Thanks.
Now move on. Item 7 is correspondence. We have none. Item 8 is presentations. We have no presentations today. So I'll move on to Committee of the Whole. Need a motion that the minutes of the Committee of the Whole meeting, January 14th, 2025, be received and the recommendations included in section 9.3 of the agenda be adopted, save and accept items 9.3.4, 9.3.6, and 9.3.7. I have a mover and seconder. Councillor Perry, Councillor Yeo. All in favor? And that passes. First extraction, item 934, is Councillor Perry.
Thanks very much, Mayor, and thank you to my fellow councillors for considering the draft motion I'll be putting forward, resulting from Diane Ingolstadt's excellent deputation from last council, from Committee of the Whole, rather, earlier this month. You will recall that this has to do with the Canada Ontario Housing Benefit Program, under which currently the municipality has a list of priorities, including seniors and including people who are fleeing from instances of intimate partner violence. However, unfortunately, conspicuous by its absence are persons with disabilities who are often the most vulnerable in our community. The provincial legislation had persons with disabilities as a priority population under the Canada-Ontario Housing Benefit Program. Unfortunately, previous councils did not pick that and move it forward with the other priorities. And so Ms. Engelstad's deputation is really a call for us to add persons with disabilities to the priority list when the Canada Housing Benefit Program is being administered moving forward. There are different modalities to do that, which Ms. Engelstad talked about. I've also spoke with and want to thank Director Faber and Michelle Gorley for chatting about this, as well Councillor Rob Richardson, as well as Deputy Mayor McDonald and Councillor Warren. And essentially, I know that in speaking to my councillors, they would like some more information, which is totally understandable for context. In fact, it's encouraged, and perhaps engaging the Housing and Social Services Committee. So my motion, Mayor, as provided by email this morning, is that be it resolved that adding persons with disabilities as a priority for funding under the Canada-Ontario Housing Benefit Program be referred to staff and the next meeting of the Housing and Social Services Committee for additional information and report to Council at its next regular meeting, which is the end of February. Thank you.
You good, the end of February?
Yep, that lines up with our next meeting, which is February the
17th, I think.
Okay. Is there a seconder for that? Councillor Warren. Did you want to speak further to it? Councillor Perry, did you want to speak further to it?
No, I think I've put what I have on the table.
Councillor Warren, did you want to speak to it?
No, I think it needs to be talked about, and it's something that needs to be looked at. Thank you. Sorry.
Okay, thank you. So as part of your motion, Councillor Perry, we need to receive the deputation because you extracted it, and then your motion to refer it to staff and to Kawartha Lakes Housing, Haliburton Kawartha Lakes Housing, no?
Joint Housing and Social Services Committee.
JAC.
Yeah, correct.
Joint Activity Committee, right?
Joint Advisory Committee.
Okay.
CPAC.
All right. We have a motion. All in favor?
I apologize.
And that's passed. Moving on. Next item is item 936, Deputy Mayor McDonald.
Yeah, thank you, through you. I just have a recommendation that we received the report and the deputation that Peggy Brooks regarding the request for a water bill reduction for 12 Mornings Court in Lindsay be received and referred back to staff for review and report back to council by the end of Q1, if that's possible.
Okay. Is there a seconder for that? Councillor Richardson, you wish to speak to it or not? You're good?
No. Yep, I'm good.
Councillor Richardson, you good? Okay. We have a mover and seconder. All in favor? And that passes. The last item is item 937. And that was a deputation regarding a request for site plan exemption, 4027 Highway 121 Kinmount. Councillor Warren.
Thank you, through you, Mr. Mayor. I'm going to that the deputation of Jeff Hancock regarding a request for site plan exemption for 4027 Highway 121 Kinmount be received, and that Mr. Jeff Hancock's issue regarding his restaurant in Kinmount be forwarded to staff with a report back to council by April's council meeting.
Is there a seconder for that? Councillor Perry, did you wish to speak to it some more?
I think that it needs to be looked at. There's a lot of variables that need to come back to council. You know, through a report, I think that's the way we should go forward. Thank you.
Go. Councillor Perry, do you want to say anything? No? Councillor Richardson?
Thank you, and through you, Mr. Mayor. I missed the deputation, so maybe just a question. Are they not following the process in the building code currently? Because it sounds like it's looking for exemption.
I don't know if you want, are you asking me?
Well,
Or
it's
staff?
kind of what we're asking staff to further do, but if, you know, I've read through it quickly, is if they're following the process in the building code, then he's working with staff, I believe. I don't know, maybe clarification
Yes.
from Director Barry?
There are more variables to this, Councillor Richardson. He's been working on this issue for 3 years through 3 different planners. And I think just to get a little bit more information wouldn't be a bad thing. So that's all I'm asking, to be brought back to council.
Okay. Have a mover and seconder, all in favor? And that passes. That finishes Committee of the Whole. We'll move on to planning. I have no extractions for the planning. Therefore, where are we? That the minutes of the Planning Advisory Committee meeting of January 15th, 2025 be received, and the recommendations included in sections 10.3 of the agenda be adopted. I have a mover and seconder. Councillor Richardson, Deputy Mayor McDonald. All in favor? And that passes. Could set a new record here, folks. Councillor Joyce, you have the motion for consent matters.
Yes, I do, Mr. Mayor. Moved by myself, seconded by Councillor Richardson, that all the proposed resolutions shown in section 11.1 of the agenda be approved and adopted by council in the order that they appear on the agenda and sequentially numbered, save and except for items 11.1.2 and 11.1.4.
Okay. I will say this before we vote on it. Discussing with staff, Councillor Warren, your motion to extract 11.1.2 has to be out of order because council has already gone into support the Enbridge expansion. And also, this is a private company and they are making arrangements for easements with private property owners, and it's not something council should get in the way of. So I'm afraid I would rule it out of order. So if you want it included in the consent, we can do that. Or if you want to argue with me about why it's out of order, we could do that. Go ahead. And your response?
Always good through you to argue with you, Mr. Mayor. So, you know, it's on the agenda. So, you know, they're asking us to okay an easement along the back corridor of Bolton Street. My issue with all of that is that I believe that most of that area is private. So are we jumping the gun by allowing, going forward with this? Why is it even on the agenda if it's out of order? That's my concern, that you're calling that out of order. It shouldn't be on the agenda then, if that's the case. But it is, and that's why I extracted it. And I wanted to basically make a motion that the easement be put on hold until the Enbridge has dealt with all the private landowners. So I believe we're jumping the gun. And I don't know why it's on the agenda then if we have no say.
So you're not in favor, okay. So we'll vote on the motion that's on the floor, which is that we approve the consent matters, save and accept 11.1.2 and 11.1.4, and we'll deal with 11.1.2 in a minute. All in favor? Councillor Joyce, who was your seconder?
Councillor Richardson.
Thank you. Moving on, 11.1.2. As I said, it's on the agenda because we have to sign the agreements and council has to approve that, the signing of the agreements. But your motion is ruled to be out of order because what Enbridge does with private property owners is not the business of council. All we're being asked to do is approve easements on our property, and council has already approved the Enbridge expansion in Bobcaygeon, so I have to not allow your motion to go forward, Councillor Warren. Councillor Perry, do you have something to say?
Just a question, if I could. In reviewing this, this does implicate public land, correct? This isn't these easements aren't exclusively over private property, correct?
I don't believe so. I believe they are part of, they're public.
Right, they're City of Kawartha Lakes owned land.
Yeah.
Correct, thank you.
Both.
So, so can I have a mover and seconder to move this motion? Councillor Richardson, seconder.
Sorry, which is the motion, Mayor? Sorry, could you just repeat point of order?
As printed.
Meaning
that report
Can I get a
RS
recorded vote, please?
2025-009, request for easements over a portion of city-owned properties close to William Street, Bolton Street, and Sherwood Street, Enbridge Gas Inc. be received. That a grant of easement in favor of Enbridge Gas over a portion of the city-owned properties legally described as part of Lot 3, Range 5, Plan 11, Verlem, Part 1, 57R 6449, T/W R251152 Kawartha Lakes, more specifically described as Part 2 on 57R-11042, pin 63128-0219, LT, part of Lot 6, Range 5, Plan 11, Verlem, Part 1, 57R4594, Kawartha Lakes, more specifically described as Part 8 on 57R11042, pin 63128-023 LT, part of Lots 6 and 7, Range 5, Plan 11, Verlem, Parts 1 and 2, 57R-4203, Kawartha Lakes, more specifically described as Part 10 on 57R-11042, pin 63128-0198 LT, and part of Lot 6, Range 6, Plan 11, Verlem, Part 7, 57R 6007, Kawartha Lakes, more specifically described as Part 3 on 57R-11043, pin 63129-0108 LT, be supported in principle, that the mayor and clerk be authorized to sign the agreement to grant an easement attached as Appendix F, and that the mayor and clerk be authorized to sign all documents required to facilitate the registration of the grant of easement.
I'd hate to ask you to read that again, Mayor.
Can I-
Yeah, I
But,
can
what
if
point of order?
if you'd like to be here,
Point of order, if I could.
which is,
I'm not sure, did we dispose of any consideration of your ruling that Councillors Warren's extraction or motion were out of order?
I mean, I don't see how it's been ruled out of order. We can't do it. If you'd like to hear from Ms. Carlson, I think she would support that. The clerks would certainly support it. I mean, you know,
I mean, just as we are the council, and, you know, the council did approve the project, but that to me doesn't give a blank check to kind of just rubber stamp aspects of this project moving forward. If councillors have an interest or want to speak to an item on the agenda, I believe that is our right as councillors.
I believe Councillor Warren spoke to it. She said what she wanted to do. It was ruled out of order.
Okay.
Okay? So we have a mover and seconder. All in favor?
Can I have a recorded vote? Have a recorded vote, please?
Sure. You want me to repeat what I just said?
No.
I mean, I just read the motion. What?
I want,
Councillor Joyce.
I want a
I don't-
recorded vote. Thank you.
I didn't hear a seconder, but I'm willing to second it.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you. Did you have a seconder? Okay, we now have a seconder, Councillor Joyce. Okay. Recorded vote requested.
Councillor Yo,
In favor.
Councillor Richardson,
In favor.
Councillor Warren,
Opposed?
Councillor Perry,
Opposed?
Deputy Mayor McDonald,
In favor.
Councillor Joyce,
In favor.
Mayor Elmsley.
In favor.
It was carried. So the recorded vote in favor, 5 against 2, motion carried.
Thank you. Next item is item 1114, which is the blue box options for non-eligible sources. Deputy Mayor McDonald, you had extracted that.
Yeah, through you, thank you very much. Just a couple concerns I have for the downtown BIA. And my first concern was the downtown businesses, they're asking the question is that we pay taxes now to have all this stuff removed. So if we aren't going to have this removed, does that mean that their taxes will go down? So one question that might not be able to answer today, but if anybody can answer for me that would be great. And the other concern I have is that how are they going to determine, we have a lot of apartments downtown on Lindsay, how are they going to determine which is from the apartments and which is from the stores and so on? Because I can see just a real mess coming that if somebody decides to leave all this behind, I can just see it not working good. So I just don't know if everybody has considered that going forward. So those are my two concerns, if anybody would like to try to answer that for me.
Director Robinson, did you wish to weigh in? I know you're not going to answer the tax question, but perhaps.
Sorry, through you, Mr. Mayor. Absolutely. I could answer the tax question. The taxes collected right now, there is nothing specific for that waste collection. So we used to, pre-transition of the producer responsibility, we used to get a grant from the province. That grant was used to collect some of these ineligible sources were just naturally inherently form part of this program. So now we're into a situation where they're no longer forming part of that program. There's no longer grants available for them. So we're forced into a decision of what do we do with that. If the service stops, there is no change to taxes supported with that. So if, unless Director Bukobu wants to correct me, I'm pretty sure that's the answer for the tax question. With respect to the operational challenges, absolutely. Across the province, this is going to generate challenges for operations, what to collect, what not to collect, etc. We're going to have to work with our provider to ensure that they're providing the appropriate services in the appropriate locations. You know, in areas like a BIA where you have residential eligible sources above non-eligible commercial sources, it's going to be a challenge. We're going to have to work with those groups to confirm what's being collected. We're going to have to work with our provider. The producers are going to have to work with their provider, and they're going to have to come to terms with how that process is going to work. Is it going to be clear off the bat? Absolutely not, but we'll have to work through that. And we're not unique. There's many other municipalities across the province going through the same thing right now.
And is it fair to say that this will probably only occur for 1 year, and that when we renegotiate our contract with Miller in 2027, that we will look to include this in the contract?
So through you, Mr. Mayor, that's council's discretion. At the moment, we have a contract in place with Miller until 2027, so it would be starting in 28. If council wants us to include that as a provisional to potentially resume that service, great. Or if council wants to continue the service now and then continue that through the contract, absolutely. If there is direction to provide that service, we will, through our contractual means, find the best way to deliver that service, the most economical way to deliver that service over time.
Thank you. Councillor Richardson.
Thank you, and through you, Mr. Mayor, just a question as well. You know, recognizing that, you know, we're going through this process because of the provincial changes, and that money was earmarked, was that, you know, that financial component that we were receiving was to cover the non-eligible, and now that funding is going to the province. So we need to make a decision, and I feel like we've kicked it down the road a couple of months here, and we still have to give notice to our residents that will be affected. I'm just concerned that we need to make a decision because we need to be fair to the ones that may or may not be receiving the service moving forward. Just maybe one quick question. Deputy Mayor McDonald mentioned about the taxes, but this program that we have been offering has been going above the service normally. Am I correct with that assumption?
Yeah, through you, Mr. Mayor, that's correct. So the program that the municipality had been delivering with the grant monies provided by the province and supplemented by municipal taxes as well, did provide service above and beyond those those eligible sources. So we provided all the eligible sources, and then there were, again, as noted in the report, there was about 718 non-eligible sources that also received service. So that's the gap that we're trying to address right now. And again, you're absolutely right. All we're looking for right now is direction. There was a discussion in November, discussion again last council meeting, and then request to bring back some alternatives. So if you look at the report there's the option, which is preferred by staff to cease that service. We'll then work with the residents to move forward on a communication plan and help support them on their transition. And then there was 3 alternatives presented in there as well. So we're simply seeking direction from council, and we'll implement whatever's needed.
You good?
I'm good, and perhaps I can maybe lean on Councillor Joyce or Councillor Warren at this time because they both sit on this committee and know the ins and outs maybe a little bit further.
Certainly, Councillor Richardson, and I'll defer to Councillor Warren as well. But on the tax question, all of the residents in Kawartha Lakes, it's flipped over to producer responsibility, so they are paying for this collection. So if anything, I believe would be in terms of the tax input, it's allowed us to spend, or I guess allowed us not to raise taxes as high as it could have been. Am I right on that, Director Brufagum?
Through you, Mr. Mayor, to the councillor, and in corroboration with what Director Robinson has been stating, we were fully funded through the Blue Box grant in previous years. Now, the only source we are not, that the province has not taken over is the non-eligible sources. It is not currently in our 2025 budget as an expenditure. We need to make a decision here. So just to loop back the statement that people are overpaying in their taxes for this service, that it is not included in their 2025 taxes. There is no cost in this budget for non-eligible services. And that's what we're here to determine what to do in the future. Does it become a tax base? Does it become the options per the report written by Public Works?
Okay, thank you. I wasn't aware that it was fully funded. I thought we still had to kick in some dollars for the collection. So thank you for the clarification. But yeah, we've kicked it around at the Waste Management Committee, but the alternatives you see here printed, that's what came, through our committee, and that's what we're wrestling with. Councillor Warren?
Yeah, the whole point was at our committee, we said, okay, it's going to be over $700,000 to give the non-eligible that service. Going forward, I think we have to work with those people. Also, I have a question to the mayor. I made a resolution that a letter go to the Minister of Environment to reconsider the powers that be to include those non-eligible people, because it's going to be very difficult. It's not just Lindsay BIA, it's everybody. It's all the urban areas usually have homes, apartments above the downtown core. So it's going to be a real mess. But maybe something will happen within the year that we can go forward with offering that service, but we have to work with the province. Hopefully they will reconsider.
The letter did go. The letter was
Good,
sent.
thank you. Thank you.
Councillor Perry.
Thanks very much, Mayor. And I want to thank Manager Zerko for her report. Just a couple of things that I'd like to raise. One is that I was able to speak with the manager in preparation for today, and I know that there's been eyebrows raised at this alleged $715,000 cost of continuing. My understanding is that is a kind of top of mind 30,000 foot pricing provided by the current contractor. And has yet to be costed out, and it could be that, or it could be less. And so I would just caution how much decision-making we put at this point in that figure, given it isn't as grounded as it should be. And I guess I'd like to say too is that hearing and aligning myself with the comments of my fellow councillors so far, my interest really is in I guess what's called alternative 3. I'm not sure why it's an alternative. That tends to privilege option 1 as the way to go. But alternative 3, new, being that indeed we put folks on notice that this has come down from the province and could be terminated as of January 1st, 2006, but that we do continue our work. I believe it's incumbent upon us and our duty to continue to support ways to provide services as procurement and talk to adjacent municipalities to see about what might be done moving forward in the time that we do have. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. And I think that is what we need to do. We need to do something today and make sure that these folks start to get apprised of what's coming forward, and we can be. Hope is not a strategy, as has been pointed out many times, but we try and be hopeful that the province does the right thing and puts this back on the producers to start funding. So, does somebody want to make a motion? Councillor Warren, did you want to make a motion?
Oh, I'll make a motion of number 3. So I don't have it right in front of me, but I have read it.
I can read it. It's not as long as the last one I
Thank
read,
you.
but
Got to keep you on your
Alternate
toes.
threes, well, first of all, we have to receive the report, and that starting January 1st, 2026, non-eligible sources within the city of Kawartha Lakes will not receive curbside collection of recycling provided by the city of Kawartha Lakes, and that the bylaw for collection and management of waste and recyclables within the city of Kawartha Lakes, bylaw 2024-235, be amended to remove the responsibility for the collection of non-eligible source material beginning January 1st, 2026, and that staff should notify non-eligible sources participating in the curbside collection program of the plans to cease service starting January 1st, 2026. Staff and continue to explore alternatives to support provision of the services such as joint procurement with adjacent municipalities and municipal support for a private procurement process. Okay?
Yes, thank you. Yep.
You move that. Is there a seconder? Councillor Perry. Any other comments or questions? Seeing none, all in favor? And that passes. Thank you. Hang on, I got to shuffle paper here. We have item 11.2.1, which are items extracted from consent, and it's surplus property, 574 Hartley Road, Woodville, the Hartley Depot. The report RS 2025-005, surplus property, 574 Hartley Road, Woodville, be received, that the resolution CR 2014-147 be amended to remove the city-owned former Public Works Depot, municipally known as Hartley, 574 Hartley Road, from the list of properties to be sold, and that the surplus declaration of 574 Hartley Road, Woodville, be rescinded. I need a 2/3 majority for this vote because we're rescinding an old motion of council. So can I have a mover and seconder? Don't all jump at once. Mover and seconder? Councillor Richardson, seconder. Councillor Joyce. Comments, questions? Councillor Joyce.
Sorry, wrong button. I understand departments have a need for this. My concern is the building maintenance report is 9-10 years old. So staff can speak to that. We're keeping a property, and I'm just concerned about bringing this building back up to standard. It's going to cost way too much money, so.
Director Robinson, is this yours? No? Who's it belong to? Realty Services is online. Ms. Carlson, do you want to speak to this? Have you heard the question?
I have, yes, and I understand that an updated report is being done for property assessment, and that the departments that are interested in it have looked at it and decided that the cost to update the building are reasonable. That would be fire and community services.
Thank you. Director Johnson, did you have any thoughts on this?
I can concur with the solicitor that building condition assessment has actually been completed. Myself and Chief Jones have looked at the assessment and are comfortable with the needs that were addressed or that were identified in the assessment, and will be including those figures into the long-term financial plan.
Chief Jones, did you want to weigh in on this?
No, I believe my counterpart has explained it. We do have use for the building, and ideally for what it's going to cost for us to get it back up and running is really not a major cost at this time. A few doors and some meat.
Thank you. Councillor Joyce.
Okay, but you're asking us to rescind a motion when we haven't seen the actual costs. This property, though, we've been attempting to sell it for the past 9-10 years without success. Is that?
I think you should ask.
That is correct.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, well, I'd like to see numbers at some point, so.
It's not costing you anything to keep the building. You're going to get an assessment, but you're going to get to approve the assessment before any work's done on it. All we're doing is we're taking it off the list of buildings for sale.
Okay, I'm fine with that, thank you.
Okay. Councillor Richardson?
Thank you, and through you, Mayor. Yeah, that was my whole statement is obviously staff has recognized that this is something that we need to put back into our inventory. It hasn't moved in the last almost 10 years. And if they've got vision of what they need to do, it's probably going to be cheaper to keep it than to go out and provide another land acquisition if it's needed in the future. So that's why I'm supporting this.
All right, we have a mover and seconder. Councillor Yeo, do you want to say something?
Yeah, thank you. Speaking to the motion, speaking against the motion. I heard a lot of probablys and maybes and stuff in there. And I got to tell you, until I see a report, I'm not going to support any motion. And you could say, well, we're just going to keep the building back, but we're rescinding a motion of council until we see any information. Hey, come on, that's not how we do business around here. It shouldn't be how we do business around here. Get us the report, and then we'll make a proper decision. So if anything, I'd like to make a motion to defer with the seconder.
Is there a seconder to a motion to defer? Councillor Perry. So motions to defer are not debatable.
If I could, can I ask them the implications of deferral?
It would be deferred, I assume, until after the report's available for the condition of the building and the cost to...
But there isn't anything hugely time-sensitive riding on this.
Is this, Ms. Carlson, is this time-sensitive at all? I don't see it being.
No, it is not.
No. Okay, we have a motion to defer. All in favor?
Yeah.
And that 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, that passes. Okay, till when? So when do you want to defer it, Councillor Yeo?
I'd like to defer it until the report comes to council, and I'd also like in that report to tell us where we got the budget to do this property assessment. So as soon as possible.
Thank you. Moving on to 12.1, request for a four-way intersection at Mary Street. This is a petition, and a copy of the petition with 72 signatures is available for viewing at the clerk's office. Councillor McDonald, do you want to speak to this?
Yes, through you. Yes, I've talked to Mr. Kelly on this, and there was a report a while ago on that corner. He's okay with me referring this petition back to engineering for review and report back to see if this fits within our scope. Q2 would be fine if I can get a second and people are okay with that.
Is there a seconder for that? Councillor Richardson. Okay. Anybody want to speak to it? Seeing none, all
Just
in
the only
favor?
other comment I'd like to. Just the only other comment I'd like to make on that. It's a really busy corner. You have the college there. You have the arena there. Mary Street is pretty quick, pretty fast now. So that's the reason for that. So I think it's definitely worthwhile to do a study on it, see within the scope.
Thank you. All in favor? All in favor to send a report to Mr. Kelly? Thank you. That passes. Moving on, there's no other new business. Bylaws, Councillor Perry, you have the report, you have the bylaws.
Well, yes, I do, Mayor. It's moved by myself and seconded by Councillor Joyce that the bylaws shown in section 14.1 of the agenda, namely items 14.1.1 to and including 14.1.12, be ready first, second, and third time, passed, numbered, signed, and the corporate seal attached.
Thank you. All in favor? And that passes. I have a motion to adopt the closed session agenda. Mover and seconder. Councillor Yeo, Deputy Mayor McDonald. That's carried. Item 16.2, disclosure of pecuniary interest in closed session items. Are there any disclosures of pecuniary interest? Seeing none. Item 16.3, at this point of the meeting, City Council will go into closed session to consider the items under section 16.3 of the agenda. As per our procedural bylaw requirements, I'm asking all electronic participants in our meeting today to confirm to me by raising their hands that they are in a private room where no other person can overhear the deliberations and that the internet connection is secure and not publicly accessible. Thank you. Can I get a mover and seconder? Council convened in a closed session at 2:17 p.m. pursuant to Section 239(2) of the Municipal Act in order to consider matters identified in Section 16.3 of the regular council meeting agenda of Tuesday, January 28, 2025, namely item 16.3.1, 2, and including 16.3.6. All those in favor? And that passes. At this point, the meeting broadcast will now end for members of the public watching on Cogeco, your TV cable. The live stream of the meeting on YouTube and the rebroadcast will now be temporarily paused for members of the public. When closed session is complete, the live stream and rebroadcast of the meeting will resume to address the remaining open session items on the agenda. All remaining staff, with the exception of those involved within closed session, are now instructed to leave the electronic meeting and council chambers at this time. Let's take till 2:25, 2:30. Okay, we're back. Madam Clerk, do you have any matters from closed session?
Through you, Mr. Mayor. Matters from the closed session. The confidential closed session minutes for the regular council meeting of December 10th, 2024 were approved. Item 16.3.2, an appraisal and counter offer for the road allowance adjacent to 89, 91, and 95 Fells Point Road, Found Falls, were provided to council and provided instruction to staff. Item 16.3.3, a counteroffer for the shoreline road allowance adjacent to 159 McCracken Avenue, Seabright, was provided to council. Council provided instruction to staff. A motion is required that the following members, member of the public, be appointed to the Fountain Falls Power Links Committee, Dan Jones, for a term ending December 31st, 2026.
I have a mover and seconder, Councillor Perry, Councillor Joyce. All in favor? And that's passed.
Item 16.3.5, a motion is required that following members of the public and Kawartha Conservation staff member be appointed to the Environmental Advisory Committee. Kathleen Cooper and Danielle Marcoux for Hunter for a term ending November 14th, 2026.
Thank you. Councillor Warren, moving that. Seconder, Councillor Perry. All in favor? And that's passed.
Item 16.3.6, a motion is required that the following members of the public be appointed to the Kawartha Lakes Accessibility Advisory Committee for a term ending December 31st, 2026. Elizabeth Peters, Crystal Morassi, Caitlin Lowe's, Federico Bonef, Matthew Kuchen, Luke Brunner, and Shane Orr.
Moved by Deputy Mayor McDonald, seconded Councillor Richardson. All in favor? And that passes. Thank you. Councillor Richardson, you have a confirming bylaw?
I do, through you, Mr. Mayor. Moved by myself, seconded by Councillor Joyce, that a bylaw to confirm the procedures of the regular council meeting held on Tuesday, January 28th, 2025 be read a first, second, and third time, passed, numbered, signed, and the corporate seal attached.
Thank you. I have a motion to adjourn. Councillor Yeo and Councillor Perry. All in favor? Thank you. Thank you for today. Have a great rest of your day.